it's been close to a week since we found out more about the family of the Colorado Springs shooter. And I think it was a real awakening for a lot of people seeing the environment that this kid had been raised in. We're gonna show you the dad there. We can't show you the actual footage because unfortunately it was on local news, but Aaron Brink is the father of the person who killed 5 individuals at Club Q. And when he was interviewed about his reaction to that news, he said, they started telling me about the incident, a shooting. And then I go on to find out it's a gay bar. I got scared. Blank, is he gay? And he's not gay, so I said, phew, I am a conservative Republican. He also mentions being a Mormon. I praised him for violent behavior really early. I told him it works, you'll get immediate results, which is just truly deranged, truly deranged. And there's a lot that obviously we need to find out about the motivation for the actual attack. But it kind of feels like that's not a coincidence, that that's probably attached to this person lashing out in this murderous way. Now, to be fair, I guess, and this is often left in coverage of that interview, he does eventually say, there's no excuse for going and killing people. If you're killing people, there's something wrong. It's not the answer. And he went on to say, I'm so sorry for your loss, for whatever that's worth. But everything else that has been quoted, he did say that he appeared more concerned with the possibility of that his murderous son might have a certain orientation rather than the fact that he just killed people, and wanted to make sure that the interviewer knew that he was the one who encouraged them to lash out with violence to achieve their ends. So look, I know it's been a good number of days. We don't normally cover news after this period, Francesca, but it's just too much. Felt like we had to say something. What do you think?
I mean, I watched the video, and if you guys have, the dad is not well. Like, he is absolutely not well, both mentally and politically, right? And it is a fine line between the Republican ideology and an ideology of hate, an ideology of I'm glad my son isn't gay, and mental illness, right? Like, racism is also a form of mental illness. It could be argued. It also is just a disgusting ideology that people walk into completely sober and lucid. This guy, I don't think was and is not. And so watching him speak and then knowing a little bit about the parents, meaning not just him, but his wife, the mother of the shooter, you're like, yeah, man. This is why we need reproductive health care and reproductive rights, and people need to make their decisions about whether they're gonna raise children with eyes wide open. Yes, I said it. The main goal when you're a parent, you're like, I just don't wanna raise a mass shooter. That's it, that's pretty much it. You're like, I'm gonna love this kid and try to provide for it enough and try to love it enough so it won't be a mass shooter. Yay, that is, it's a low bar in America, but here we are in a country littered with guns, not enough healthcare, not enough mental health care. And then again, like, I'm not saying there's a difference. I'm not saying I have empathy for this gunman, but I understand he is the product of an incredibly broken home. And no, it's not because like, they're Democrats who taught him that he could be any gender he wanted, and they loved him too hard, and they let him wear what he wanted to school, and they let him be her, and no, this is his dad. This is his dad who says, I taught him about violence to get what he wants, and I'm so glad he's not gay. So sit and think about that, Republicans, and they won't, but I hope they do.
Yeah, it's possible. I don't know that I guess he could have rejected what his father told him and then went off and independently came to the conclusion that he needed to kill a bunch of people at a gay club, I guess. But we do know that he was raised in a society and in a household that told him, we don't do gay and you should be violent. It's how you get results. I mean, look, that father, it takes about 2 seconds of watching that interview for me to know that I never want to stand even remotely close to this person. He's out of his damn mind. But is it that different than the overall message that many people in America are sending? They may not be quite as explicitly violent, but they don't do gay either. I mean, some of those prominent politicians in our country, that's the message they're sending, that there is something suspect, suspicious, to be feared of people in this community. And look, his response, the dad's response to the shooting immediately was pretty bad. But was it that much worse than basically every right-wing politician and pundit? How many of them even bothered to do the thoughts and prayers thing this time? I mean, people like Tim Pool were actively saying, this is what you get. We told you guys not to do drag shows and you did drag shows, so what are you gonna do?
Yeah, and I can see some people in the comments also bringing up this father's history of drug addiction and abuse, and yeah, well, it's something that the right never actually in good faith wants to talk about. They only want to talk about the opioid epidemic when Halloween is coming around and suddenly rainbow fentanyl is everywhere. I don't know, do you guys enjoy that rainbow fentanyl? I know we didn't talk about it. It was amazing. No, my neighbor gives out the best rainbow fent. No, but they either want to talk about it when it's Halloween or when it only affects white people. Do they do anything about it? Do we reorganize our budget to help people recovering from addiction? Do we reorganize our budget to actually provide services for folks? No, not at all. Zero. Like, so shut up. You guys actually don't care. We're the ones who have empathy for someone like this. We're the ones who actually want to solve things like the massive opioid epidemic, right? Because we actually want to hold corporations accountable for the stuff that they've been flooding into our communities, right?
Yeah. And of course, there's been multiple mass shootings even since that one. Apparently, this has been the deadliest year for mass shootings. So once again, we're number one. We're setting records for mass gun violence. And what do we expect to come from this? Solutions-wise? Nothing as of right now. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.